I watched one 5-star island tour video to get some ideas, and it resulted in my entire recommended being flooded by players who are way better at designing things than I am. After seeing all of these, I wondered if you needed to have architect levels of creativity to reach 5 stars. After a month or so of playing the game, I thankfully found that that was not the case, and you could get a nice island with mediocre skills. Thank goodness. But how do you actually get 5 stars? What counts towards it? You can talk to Isabel, sure, but she changes up her advice frequently. She tells you to plant flowers, so you plant flowers. She tells you to place some furniture, so you do that. And then you go back to her and she freaking tells you to plant flowers again. Is there a certain number of trees, flowers, furniture, fencing that you have to place? Is it like past games where it counts decorations per square? Looking online, I found so many different guides telling you how many trees, flowers, fencing, DIY furniture, Nook Miles furniture, and infrastructure to place. And they were all different, which kind of makes sense because it allows us to play our island the way we choose to. But it does make it difficult when trying to break down how a 5-star island can be achieved. First things first, we gotta clear out the island, completely. This means chopping all the trees, picking up all the furniture, and destroying all the bushes. One thing I will leave up is this. I don't believe paths count, and I think buried items are okay, and this took far too long on stream to do, so it stays. Terraform land doesn't seem to affect it either, so I left the work in progress maze there as well. After cleaning everything out, I went to check how many stars my island had completely empty, and the verdict is this is probably due to the fact that I have a bridge, all 10 villager plots placed, and buildings like upgraded Nook's Cranny, the Evil Sisters, and the museum. The one factor that most of the guides had in common were specific categories of items to decorate your island with, which were furniture, flowers, trees, and fencing. But the numbers they listed were high. There's no way it requires that many flowers, right? To start out, I planted or placed 60 of each of the 4 categories. I did see this image, which recommended you spread everything out all over your island. After placing all of these, I was still at 2 stars. So I time traveled a couple days hoping the fully grown trees and flowers would add another star, but it still wasn't enough. I was stuck at 2 stars, and she kept telling me to just plant more flowers. I will mention I tried to only plant red pansies. I was curious if variety was necessary or if it just considered the number of flowers, trees, or furniture that you placed, rather than how many different types you had. I tested this with the trees as well and planted just saplings. After placing another 30 of each item, I went to talk to Isabel again, and she suggested tree varieties. There it is, finally confirmation that variety might be key. I went around planting cedar trees, different types of fruit trees, and planted different flowers. Lo and behold, 3 stars. In the end, if you're stuck trying to get out of 2 stars, just follow Isabel's advice. You'll get there eventually. Next, Isabel dropped the bomb on me that I needed more bridges and inclines. I liked my one bridge. I enjoyed having to run to the southernmost part of my island anytime I wanted to cross the river. So I dropped some money off for myself and talked to Nook. A couple days later, I had another bridge and a very purpose-filled incline. I chose the cheapest option just to save some bells and time. I'm not sure if the more expensive options get you more stars or not, but there's no definitive way of telling it except maybe digging into the code of the game, which I can't do. In this case, I figured being frugal was probably fine. Another couple of chats with Isabel showed that the game can tell the difference between bought furniture, crafted furniture, and Nook Miles furniture. So I spent a bunch of Nook Miles on the cheapest furniture options since I don't have a ton, and I placed more DIY and Bell purchase furniture. As I time traveled to do this, I picked up weed sticks and rocks lying around. I wasn't sure if these affected the score. They're naturally occurring in the game, so they probably don't count negatively, but I picked them up anyway to rid any kind of variables from the experiment. After hours of talking to Isabel, planting flowers, talking to Isabel, placing furniture, talking to Isabel, planting trees, talking to Isabel, installing more infrastructure, Isabel fencing, Isabel crafting, Isabel flowers, Isabel trees, Isabel furniture, Isabel flowers, I finally achieved 5 stars. I couldn't walk properly around my island, but hey, 5 stars is 5 stars. Isabel will congratulate you, send you a recipe for a golden watering can, and can also get you gold roses. Having a 5-star island also allows the lily of the valley flowers to grow. Now, I wanted to truly test if weeds affect your island score. I went into my storage, grabbed 300 weeds, and started planting. After talking to Isabel, it turns out you guys were indeed correct. The weeds do not negatively affect your island score. Whenever I talked to Isabel, I would plant or place like 30 to 40 items. I was curious if taking away a couple items at a time would decrease my rating, so I could find some sort of limit that I was reaching. So I took away one of each category, still had 5 stars, and went back and took another away from each category, and it dropped to 4 stars. I slowly started putting one item back at a time and checking the rating. After I added 2 furniture items back, it immediately shot back up to 5 stars. This made me think that furniture carried more weight than something like trees or flowers. I took away 20 flowers, and I still had 5 stars. Wanting to test the variety theory a little bit further, I took away every rose, which made it so the only flowers on my island were pansies and tulips. And my island score indeed dropped. This could be related to variety or just maybe because I took many flowers away. But you do not need hybrids to be able to achieve 5 stars, so that's a plus. But what are these points? Is there a certain number of points you must reach to obtain a perfect island? Wouldn't you know it? I found my answer on page 2 of Google. According to a Nintendo Soup article, that's exactly how it works. They got their hands on an Animal Crossing guidebook, which works out how to obtain a 5-star island. Guidebooks aren't always correct. The Pokemon Company actually found 60 errors in the official Sword and Shield guidebook, so you can't always rely on them. But a quick advanced Twitter search showed awesome data miner Ninja finding the exact information that is in line with the guidebook. Basically, you need 665 development points and 450 scenery points. Development meaning bridges, ramps, fencing, and furniture, while scenery refers to flowers, trees, and apparently DIY furniture. There's a ton of information in the Nintendo Soup article that I've linked in the description about how many points each placed or planted item will give you. It also confirms that you need buildings like the museum, Able Sisters, and upgraded Nook's Cranny to achieve 5 stars. According to Ninja, you'll lose points for having more than 220 trees and 15 loose items that you've dropped around your island. Things like rocks and branches that occur naturally don't actually count, but dropped items like wood, iron, and random leaf furniture icons will be counted in these 15 items. So maybe reduce the size of your cute crafting area or your free DIY recipe spot. It doesn't matter if these items are dropped on a table or a stand or just the ground. Your island also can't be cluttered. Space them out. You kind of need to walk around your island anyway, so just don't place all your furniture in one square. I spent this whole time trying to find the answer to something that was on page 2 of Google, because all the crap on page 1 put no effort into researching any kind of information. Use page 2, people. Gold is found there. How's your island looking? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye! Oh my god, we can flip, bitch, you look so freaking happy. Oh my god.